In the quiet, orderly home of the Davis family, there was one sacred, unspoken rule, a law built not on a command, but on a painful history. That rule was sobriety. For 19-year-old Jenna, who had only vague, childhood memories of the chaos, before her mother got sober, that rule felt like an ancient, irrelevant piece of history. She was in her second year of university, navigating a world of parties and social drinking, and she had decided that her mother's past should not define her present. Her deception began small: a six-pack of cider hidden in the back of her closet. Then, a bottle of cheap vodka, tucked into an old showbox. She was not an alcoholic. She was a performer, playing the part of the carefree college student for her friends. She would have a drink or two in her room before going out, the thrill of the secret just as intoxicating as the alcohol itself. She told herself it was harmless. What she doesn't know won't hurt her, she reasoned, a mantra of youthful arrogance. Her mother, Mrs. Davis, was a woman whose calm exterior was a testament to 15 years of hard-won sobriety. She had rebuilt her life and her relationship with her daughter from the ashes of her addiction. Her home was her sanctuary, the one place on earth she felt safe from the ghosts of her past. She trusted her daughter completely. It was a trust that was about to be profoundly and dangerously betrayed. The discovery, when it came, was accidental and devastating. It was a quiet Saturday afternoon. Jenna was out with friends. Mrs. Davis, feeling a wave of nostalgia, decided to look for an old family photo album she kept in the top of her daughter's closet. She climbed on a small step stool and reached onto the high shelf, pushing aside a pile of old sweaters. Her fingers brushed against something cold and hard. Confused, she pulled it out. It was a bottle of peach-flavored vodka, half empty. Her heart stopped. She reached back in. Another bottle, this one nearly full. And then, a show box which clinked when she moved it. Inside were a dozen miniature bottles of flavored liqueurs. She sank down onto the floor of her daughter's closet, the bottles arranged around her like evidence at a crime scene. The sweet, cloying smell of artificial fruit and cheap alcohol filled the small space, a scent that instantly transported her back to the darkest days of her own past. It was the smell of lies, of broken promises, of a life spiraling out of control. She didn't feel anger, not at first. She felt a deep, soul-crushing wave of failure and fear. The poison she had fought so hard to banish from her life had been secretly invited back into her home, into her sanctuary, by her own daughter. The betrayal felt absolute. She sat there for what felt like an hour, the shock giving way to a cold, grim resolve. Her daughter didn't just see this as a harmless drink. She saw her mother's lifelong struggle as an inconvenience to be hidden away in a closet. The disrespect was staggering. She heard Jenna's key in the front door, heard her laughing on the phone with a friend as she came up the stairs. Mrs. Davis slowly got to her feet. She picked up the half-empty bottle of vodka, walked out of the closet, and stood in the center of her daughter's bedroom, waiting. Jenna walked into her bedroom, still laughing at a joke her friend had made, and froze in the doorway. The laughter died in her throat. Her mother stood in the middle of the room, her face a mask of stony, heartbroken disappointment. In her hand, she held the bottle of vodka. "Mom," Jenna breathed, her mind racing, searching for a lie that she knew would not work. It's not what you think. It's my friends. I was just holding it for." "Do not lie to me, Jenna," her mother interrupted, her voice dangerously quiet. "Not about this. Not ever." She gestured to the open closet, where the other bottles were still visible. "I found them, in my house, in my daughter's room." "I'm sorry," Jenna whispered, her eyes filling with tears. "It's just for parties. It's not a big deal." "Not a big deal?" Her mother's voice cracked with a pain that was 15 years old. "This is the poison that almost destroyed our family. This is the demon I fight every single day of my life. And you brought it into my home, into my sanctuary, and hid it like a dirty secret. You didn't just disrespect me, Jenna. You disrespected every single sober day of my life." The weight of her mother's words, the raw historical pain behind them, finally broke through Jenna's selfish justifications. She saw her harmless secret for what it was, a profound act of cruelty. "You have behaved not just like a child, but like a thoughtless, careless stranger," Mrs. Davis continued, her resolve hardening. "You have crossed a line that you cannot even comprehend. And for that, there must be a consequence. A lesson so clear, so sharp, it will leave a mark on your memory forever." She walked over to her own bedroom and returned a moment later. She was holding a long, flat wooden paddle. It was an object of discipline from a bygone era, a symbol of a hard line that had been crossed. "You have shown me that my words and my struggle mean nothing to you," she said, her voice steady and firm. "So, I will give you a lesson that you can feel. You will bend over the end of your bed." Jenna was sobbing now, her whole body shaking with a mixture of fear and profound shame. "Mom, please." Now Jenna, with a feeling of utter humiliation, she did as she was told, leaning over the bed where she had so often sat, secretly defying the most important rule of their home. The first strike of the paddle was a loud, sharp crack that echoed in the quiet room. It was a shocking, fiery sting that made her cry out. "That," her mother said, her voice shaking with controlled emotion, "is for the disrespect to my sobriety." Crack. The second blow was even harder, a powerful, emphatic impact. "That is for the lies and the secrets." Crack. The third and fourth strikes came in quick succession, a definitive, humbling punishment that left her weeping. When it was over, her mother let the paddle drop to the floor. "This lesson is not finished," she said, her voice raw. "The first step was the purge." Together, they gathered every bottle, and her mother made her pour every last drop of the sweet, sickening liquid down the bathroom drain. "You will be the one to remove this poison from my house," she said. Next came the terms of her new reality. "You are grounded for 2 months. No parties, no friends over, no social life. Your phone is now for emergencies only, and you will attend Al-Anon meetings with me every week. You will sit, and you will listen, and you will finally understand the damage this substance does to families. You will understand what you were playing with." The following weeks were a sobering education. Jenna sat in the quiet meeting rooms, listening to the heartbreaking stories of families torn apart by the very thing she had treated as a casual accessory. She listened to her own mother speak, her voice strong and steady, and for the first time, Jenna truly understood the depth of her courage. One evening after a meeting, as they sat in the car, Jenna turned to her mother, her eyes full of a remorse. "That was deep and real. I get it now, Mom," she whispered. "I'm so sorry for what I put you through." Her mother took her hand, her grip firm and loving. "I know, honey," she said, a sad smile on her face. The lesson is learned. Jenna knew it would take a long time to fully earn back the trust she had broken. The sting of the paddle had faded, but the memory of her mother's heartbroken face and the stories she had heard in those quiet rooms would stay with her forever. She had learned that some mistakes don't just break rules, they break hearts. And the road back from that is a long, humbling, and necessary journey.